guys, I'm going to do a whispered reading of the moon. Once upon a time, a long, long time ago, there was a land where the nights were always dark and the sky spread over it like a black cloth, for the moon never rose and no star could shine in the gloom. At the creation of the world, the light at night had been enough. 3 young fellows once went out of this country on a travelling expedition and arrived in another kingdom, where in the evening, when the sun had disappeared behind the mountains, a shining globe was placed on an oak tree which shed a soft light far and wide. With this shining globe, everything could very well be seen and distinguished, even though it was not as bright as the sun. The travellers stopped and asked a countryman who was driving past with his cart what kind of a light that was. "That is the moon," he answered. "Our mayor bought it for $3 and fastened it to the oak tree. He has to pour oil into it daily to keep it clean so that it may always shine clearly. He receives $1 a week from us for doing it." When the countryman had driven away, one of them said, "We could make some use of this lamp. We have an oak tree at home, which is just as big as this, and we could hang it on that. What a pleasure it would be not to have to feel around at night in the darkness." "I'll tell you what we'll do," said the second. "We will fetch a cart and horses and carry away the moon. The people here may buy themselves another." "I'm a good climber," said the third. "I will bring it down." The fourth brought a cart and horses, and the third climbed the tree, bored a hole into the moon, passed a rope through it, and lowered it down. When the shining ball lay in the cart, they covered it over with a cloth so that no one would ever see that they had stolen it. They carried it safely into their own country and placed it on a high oak. Everyone in the country rejoiced when the new lamp let its light shine over the whole land, and the bedrooms and living rooms were filled with its light. The dwarfs came out of their caves in the rocks, and the tiny elves in their little red coats danced in rings on the meadows. The four took care that the moon was provided with oil, cleaned with wick, and received their weekly $1. But eventually they became old men, and when one of them grew ill and saw that he was about to die, he appointed that 1/4 of the moon as his property should be buried in the grave with him. When he died, the mayor climbed up the tree and cut off 1/4 of the moon with a pair of scissors, and this was placed in his coffin. The light of the moon decreased, but still not visibly. When the second man died, the second 1/4 was buried with him, and the light diminished even more. It grew weaker still after the death of the third, who likewise took his part of it away with him. When the fourth was born to his grave, the old state of darkness returned to the country, and whenever the people went out at night without their lanterns, they knocked their heads together in collision. When, however, the pieces of the moon had united themselves together again in the world below, where darkness had always prevailed, it came to pass that the dead became restless and awoke from their sleep. They were astonished when they were able to see again. The moonlight was quite sufficient for them, for their eyes had become so weak that they could not have tolerated the brilliance of the sun. They rose up and were merry, and fell into their former ways of living. Some of them went to the play and to dance, others hurried to the public houses, where they asked for wine, got drunk, brawled, quarrelled, and at last took up clubs and hit each other. The noise became greater and greater, and at last reached even to heaven. St. Peter, who guards the gate of heaven, thought the lower world had broken out in revolt. He got on his horse and rode through the gate of heaven down into the world below. There he made the noisy men quiet down, made them lie down in their graves again, took the moon away from with him and hung it up in heaven for all people in all countries to enjoy. Sweet dreams.